All right, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be working on adding in a new step. So if you're looking at your list of steps here, we now have 5 steps. All right, so this is the new part. This is what we didn't do last year. But the first part, right, we still have to, our first step stays the same. So we're going to clear the parentheses. And in parentheses here, I'm going to put that that's the distributive property. Because we have to know what properties we're using. We still have to combine like terms. And if you remember from before, that's going to be our substitution property. It just says I can substitute equals for equals. This is the new step. Okay? This is where I have to cancel the variables to one side. That's going to be an additive inverse. So we're actually going to do additive inverse twice if it's in there. Then we're going to have, right, cancel our coefficient. I'm sorry, our constant. I do that all the time. Which is the additive inverse. I'm going to abbreviate. And then we cancel the coefficient. Which is the multiplicative inverse. All right, so again, I'm going to go through and just try to solve this to show you what we have to do here. So when I'm working on this problem, I see parentheses, so I still have to take care of that first. I'm going to do 2 times 3, gives me 6x. 2 times 2 is 4. And then the rest of the problem I'm copying over. And I definitely think for these, having your line through the equal sign is going to hopefully be helpful. Over here I have like terms that I can combine. So I have 6x plus 4 equals 3x minus 1. But this is a different situation than we've had before. Now I have variables on both sides of the problem. They have to be, x has to be on one side and all the other numbers have to be over. So I'm going to cancel this. It's an additive inverse, meaning I'm going to add or subtract. Well, how do I know what I'm going to do? Well, I'm going to do whichever one is smaller, number 1, and I'm going to do the opposite of what it is. So this is a positive 3x, so I'm going to subtract 3x. I have to line this up with its like term. So I have to put that over there under the 6x. So 6x minus 3x is 3x. Copy down plus 4. 3x minus 3x, these have canceled. Okay, and then we're going to get minus 1. Now we're going to cancel. Now it looks like problems we've been working on for a while here. Now I'm going to cancel my constant by subtracting 4. So 3x is going to give me negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. Divide both sides by 3. So x is negative 5/3. Right? Again, I'm going to do one problem over here, and then we'll do our properties and go through those. Okay, so number 2. So this time, right, and we're going to keep using our calculators. So in this problem, I have, draw my line through, I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any combining like terms, but I do have variables on both sides. And I need to move, see how there's no extra numbers over here? There's a big space. That means I need to move this x. There's a 1 in front of it, so I'm going to subtract 1x. I'm going to bring down my negative 9, right, because we always take the sign of what's in front. So then I have to do 3/5 minus 1, and that's going to give me negative 2/5 x. These are now being, I'm going to actually fill in my problem over here. So this was an additive inverse. And whenever you do an inverse, it's followed by a substitution. Now I have to do, I have to cancel the negative 2/5. It's being multiplied. So I'm going to divide by negative 2/5. So again, I'm going to put that in my calculator. Negative 9 divided by negative 2/5 is going to give me 22 1/2 equals x. Properties, multiplicative inverse, and anytime we do an inverse, it's followed by a substitution. All right, let's try number 3. So in number 3, there's my line. I do have some like terms, so I have to do those first. So I'm going to have 1/3 x. -5 plus 171 is going to give me 166 equals x. That was a substitution, right? Combining like terms is a substitution. Now I have to get my variables on one side. This x is all by itself, which means I have to move the 1/3. You move the one that has the extra number, that has the constant. So it's a positive, so I'm going to subtract. So that brings down to 166. And this is really a 1. So 1 minus 1/3 is 2/3 x. So I did an additive inverse. And then I did a substitution. Now I have to go through and divide by 2/3. So 166 divided by 2/3 is going to give me 249 equals x. Properties, multiplicative inverse. I forgot the word inverse up here. And then substitution. All right, let's try another one. So here I now have some parentheses, so I have to do those first. So I'm going to copy over 29 minus 3x. I'm going to distribute 5x plus 5. Property, distributive. Now I don't have any combining like terms, but I do have variables on both sides, so I have to cancel them to one side. So because they both have constants, it doesn't matter which one I do. I'm going to do the smaller of the two, so I'm going to add 3x. So I'm going to have 29 equals 5x plus 3x is 8x plus 5. Properties, additive inverse, and that's always followed by a substitution. Okay, over here we're going to subtract 5. So it's going to give me 24 equals 8x. That is my another additive inverse and substitution. And then over here we have to divide both sides by 8, so we're going to get 3 equals x. Properties, multiplicative inverse, followed by a substitution. Okay, I'm going to have you guys try number 5 on your own. And we'll come back to that, but I want to take a look at number 6. Alicia solved the linear equation, and her work is shown below. When she checked her answer, the left side of the equation did not equal the right side. Find and explain Alicia's error, and then solve the equation correctly. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually do the problem myself so that I can see, well, where the heck did she maybe make her mistake? So I'm going to start over here. 2x minus 3 minus 9x equals 14 plus x minus 1. So first thing, no distributive property, no clearing parentheses, but there are some like terms. So I have 2x and I have negative 9x. And over on this side I have 14 and I have minus 1. So I'm going to do this part first. 2 minus 9 is negative 7x minus 3. X and then 14 minus 1 is positive 13. So when I look over here, I can automatically see where she made her mistake. It's right there, right? When you do 2 minus 9, you're going to get negative 7, not negative 6. And when you do 14 minus 1, you're going to get 13. So that's where her mistake is, but they do want us to go through and finish this. So we're going to then add 7x to both sides. Negative 3 equals 8x plus 13. Subtract 13. And we're going to get negative 16 equals 8x. And then divide by 8. So negative 2 equals x. So there's the correct solution. Okay, so again, you're going to try number 5 on your own. Any questions? Bring them to class and have a good night.